Hi everyone. I am 22 weeks and 4 days today, so I know I didn't do a 21-week update. I'm sorry about that. The reason was that actually we were moving from Florida back to London, so it's been a bit of a crazy week. As you can see, my surroundings have changed. I'm actually living in a hotel at the moment, while we kind of find a house and sort of sort out everything ready for the baby. Um, so the baby apparently, according to my, sort of books and things, is about 29 centimeters long now. Which, if you think about your rulers, the rulers that you used to use at school, they were about 30 centimeters, so it's about the length of a ruler, which is enormous. And it weighs kind of about half a kilo. So, if you sort of hold, sort of go into any supermarket or anything like that, hold like a half a kilo bag of rice or flour or sugar, that kind of thing. That's kind of about the weight of your baby. So yeah, I can really feel it starting to kind of weigh down a little bit now. Apparently it has a much more keen sense of movement now. It's that sort of sense is really developing at the moment, which is very obvious in my pregnancy, because I can feel the movements really strongly now. And I feel it sometimes, like the odd little thing kind of during the day, but by the end of the day, when I lay down to kind of go to sleep usually, then the baby really kind of starts doing cartwheels, and I think kind of the reason for that is that it's kind of rocked and kind of lulled to sleep while I'm kind of being active during the day. And then by the time I kind of get into bed, then it's kind of yeah, it's time for it to sort of start its gym workout, because it's not kind of being lulled by my movement anymore. So yeah, that's kind of very obvious in my pregnancy. I The baby apparently is about to undergo a really massive growing spurt. So it's supposed to, from about week 22, it's supposed to kind of double in size in kind of the next 4 weeks. I think that my baby has started that growing spurt already, because my belly really has got a lot bigger in the last couple of weeks, and it's not just me that's noticed. Absolutely everyone has kind of said, not that I'm enormous obviously, but that I'm suddenly really showing. So I think that growing spurt is definitely kind of underway in my pregnancy. Like I said, I think that's kind of started a little bit early for me. So like I said, I've got kind of lots of really strong kicks and things. And the other night I was laying in bed, and had a quick look, and was feeling the baby move really, really strong. So I sort of pulled the covers back and had a quick look, and clear as day you could see the kicking, sort of my belly moving. It was like kind of like a drum skin or something, if you can imagine what that looks like. So I couldn't, it's not big enough to see independent limbs or anything like that, but certainly I can start to see my tummy moving now, with the kick. So that was really exciting. I was all on my own as well when it happened. So I was just kind of laying there, sort of playing with the baby a little bit. Actually, I think it was kind of reacting every time I kind of laughed. I think it could feel the movement of me laughing, and it would kind of kick like in response to my laughter. So that kind of went on for a little while, and that was really, really lovely. I I'm getting an awful lot more energy. I'm getting my energy levels back, by leaps and bounds now. And in the last couple of weeks, I haven't needed to set an alarm to wake me up in the mornings and things. I'm kind of waking up naturally at a normal time, which is really good. And then during the day, I'm just so much more up for doing a lot more, and kind of being a lot more active, which is a big relief. I was starting to wonder if my inactivity begat more inactivity, and I was just kind of I was really going to have to push myself to kind of get out and about and get more active. So that's good that that's kind of happening quite naturally. That's kind of what I was hoping for. And it's so much easier, I think, in London. It's much more kind of put together to kind of walk around, rather than when we were in Orlando before. You kind of pretty much have to drive everywhere. So it wasn't an environment that particularly fostered a the sort of natural level of activity in your day. You had to kind of plan for it and, sort of make time to, kind of go to the gym and things like that. Whereas I think in London it's a bit easier to do that. So that seems to be happening quite naturally with the move as well, which is good. Something that I've kind of noticed in the last couple of weeks, my hair is growing so fast, and this is another thing that people have commented on. So I know it's not just me. My hair and nails are just kind of they're kind of noticeably longer every day. I'm having to kind of file my nails down kind of every day where they're just kind of getting so long. So yeah, apparently that kind of is something that pregnancy does for you, but it's not really something that I've noticed up until now. So yeah, that's happening, and I mean I've always been really lucky with the thickness of my hair, but I'm pretty happy with how my hair looks at the moment, and I've no doubt that that's due in some part at least to kind of the pregnancy hormones and things. So that's nice. I think I'm just kind of entering the kind of the more comfortable, more energetic phase that everyone kind of talks about, that you kind of get into about halfway. So yeah, it's kind of a textbook sort of pregnancy, I suppose, thus far, which is really good. We had our scan. It was the anomaly scan, which usually happens at about 20 weeks, but I think because I was in such a low risk category, they obviously had sort of other women that they kind of needed to see, and which were more priority than me. So they kind of booked me in at 22 weeks because that was kind of when they could fit me in. So we went back and we had that. That's one of the reasons we came back to London at this point. So we could come back to the scan, and everything is absolutely fine with the baby. We could see. I didn't bring the photos over to show you, so maybe I'll grab them in a minute. But we could see absolutely everything so much more, than we could see before. All the individual kind of bones, kind of in its ribs, and the individual vertebrae down its spine, and its legs, just so clear. All the joints and the bones and all the little kind of toe bones and finger bones and things like that. They're all much more developed, and you could really tell exactly what you were looking at. Even kind of the untrained eye. And they checked everything, and everything's absolutely fine with the pregnancy, which is brilliant. And we are having a boy, which is really exciting. I always had boy vibes, but of course you never really know whether or you're just taking a wild guess. But I have always sort of thought that I was having a boy all the way along. So whether there's anything in that, I don't know. But yeah, we're having a boy, and she kind of showed us the kind of undercarriage area, and at first I couldn't really see. She was, if you look between the legs there, you can see, and I couldn't really sort of see what she was talking about. And then she kind of rotated it round, so I suppose it was in profile, and then it was completely obvious. There's absolutely no doubt that we're having a boy. So yeah, that's obviously really exciting news for us. So we can start buying clothes and sort of just buying things for the baby now, and it means it sort of feels a lot more like a real person in there now that there's a gender assigned to it. So that was really exciting. That was a really big day. We actually signed the tenancy on our new house that day as well, so that was a very whirlwind day. Which we move into on the 9th of April, so we've got about 4 weeks of living in hotels and things, unfortunately. But no, 9th of April still gives me plenty of time, I think, to kind of feather the nest properly and everything like that. So my updates will start to include, from that point onwards, will start to include kind of putting the nursery together and that kind of thing, sort of my experiences as I do that. And I'm kind of going to start, I'm going to buy some things new. I'm going to research what is it it's important to buy new, and what it's okay to buy second hand, and sort of have a look through all the avenues for both, kind of getting good deals for first time parents or anyone kind of collecting new stuff for a new pregnancy. So that'll be a new dimension to my blogs from that point onwards. Just to kind of give you a bit of a heads up. Another part of the scan which I think they do with everyone in the UK anyway, is they did an internal scan, which I've never had before. So it wasn't so different to having a smear, actually, if you've ever had a smear. And obviously, they're kind of used to it. It's not uncomfortable or awkward in any way. So you just kind of lay on one of the hospital beds, sort of legs akimbo, no, kind of with your sort of feet up, like kind of next to your bum, and just they give you a towel to kind of put over you, and they check whether you're allergic to anything, so they know what kind of gels and lubricants to use for the kind of the probe, and they just sort of stick the tip of the probe sort of up, and they have to check the mouth of the cervix, just to see how thick it is and how long it is, and they check the position of the placenta and also the length of your birth canal and everything. So they have to sort of do an internal check in that way. And like I said, it wasn't uncomfortable at all. It was no different from having a smear. So it's nothing to get nervous or worry about. They're all very professional. And it turned out that I actually do have a very slightly low-lying placenta. What that means kind of in severe cases is if you've got an extremely low-lying placenta, sometimes the placenta can obscure the mouth of the cervix, and it can... they usually just move of their own accord, but if they don't and you've got an extremely low-lying placenta, it means that you can't give birth naturally for obvious reasons, and they have to kind of book you in for kind of a planned C-section. But mine wasn't anywhere near the mouth of the cervix. It was only, I think the cut-off point is if it's more than 2 centimetres, if the placenta is more than 2 centimetres away from your cervix, then it's absolutely fine, and if it's less than 2 centimetres away, then it's low-lying. And mine was like 1.8 centimetres away or something, so only very slightly. So it's nothing to worry about at all. And like I said, they usually just kind of move of their own accord, but it's something that the hospital obviously needs to monitor. So yeah, that was something that they flagged up with me, but that was the only thing that needed flagging. The baby's absolutely fine, the pregnancy's absolutely fine, and my placenta will probably move. And even if it doesn't, I don't think it's going to affect my ability to give birth naturally. So that was really good. So if that's something that you're going through, really don't worry about it at all. They do another scan about 34 weeks just to check the position of it, and then kind of take it from there. So it doesn't affect the health of the baby or or the health of the pregnancy or anything. This is one of the reasons why they have to do an internal scan kind of reasonably early on. I have been, like I said before, I have been researching hypnobirthing and natural birthing techniques and things like that. I think I've pretty much decided to go ahead with the hypnobirthing. Well, just keep my options open, actually try and go as natural as possible for as long as possible. And obviously if the situation changes and I need to sort of have any sort of drugs or emergency sort of cesarean or anything like that, then I won't fight it too hard. But I'm going to try as far as I can to sort of have a natural birth, drug-free birth. And I think hypnobirthing, the techniques sort of practiced in there seem to speak to me the most. I think that's a really good way of doing it if you've decided to have a drug-free birth. But what I've decided to do, because there's so much to say about hypnobirthing and all the teachings and everything, I'm actually going to start doing a separate kind of video stream for that, just an update, every time I think I've got enough kind of information to make a complete video, then I'll put that in separately. So the updates and the hypnobirthing info will kind of be separate, so I'll start on that soon. And in terms of kind of hospitals and my experiences with the NHS and things like that, as soon as we've moved into our new house, then obviously we can I can start updating, I can register with my hospital and that kind of thing. So I will let you know. I'm running out of time, so I'll quickly show you my tummy. I don't know if you can see, hang on. So there, you can see it's a lot rounder here. And this is what it looks like. I'll come a bit closer. So I'm really looking a lot more pregnant than I was before. So there it is. So I haven't got any stretch marks or, no dark line or anything like that just yet. but it's starting to be completely obvious that I am in fact pregnant. So there you go, that's my bump at 22 weeks and 4 days.